Coming up on AgweekTV, soybean growers get some good news about growing uses for their crop. Fertilizer plants are becoming more and more popular as corn becomes a big crop in our region. And we'll tell you about a couple of new programs to improve wildlife habitat in South Dakota and help farmers. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Shauna Olson. No crop has expanded in North Dakota like soybeans in recent years. In fact, North Dakota is coming off its best 2 years for soybeans in state history. That's one of the reasons why this week's Northern Soybean Expo was so well attended. Soybeans were planted in every county in North Dakota last year, and nationally, North Dakota is fourth in soybean acres planted. But the president of the State Soybean Growers Association says more can still be done.
Our acres are expanding. They still going farther west and farther north, which is great. We want to continue to expand those markets, and inside those markets there's got to be opportunities too. So those opportunities come down to some sort of facility to feed our byproducts or plant that we can use some of these beans in the state to get a better dollar and better return for each farmer in the state.
Along with Olson, Jared Haggard, chairman of the United Soybean Board, spoke at the expo. Haggard is just the second North Dakotan ever named chairman of the USB. He'll be the first to implement the board's new long-range strategic plan. Jonathan Knutson sat down with Haggard recently and has more.
Soybeans are sometimes known as the wonder crop because of the many uses they're put to. Now, a North Dakota farmer leads a national organization that's working to make even greater use of soybeans.
It's about driving that focus across the value chain and really recognizing what we can have the greatest impact on. Before, we were focused on being a global leader in the oilseed industry. But right now, what we've decided our vision is driving innovation beyond the bushel. The three target areas: sustainability, meal, and oil. So in those three areas, we're looking to drive that innovation, beyond just looking at the bushel.
Soybeans have enjoyed a tremendous past and present. Jared Haggard thinks the best is yet to come.
We've got a goal of 18 million acres by 2023, and that would have 9 billion pounds of Kyle Lake soybean oil, and it would also make it the fourth largest commodity grown in the United States.
For Ag Week, I'm Jonathan Knutson.
United Soybean Board says new uses help boost demand for U.S. soy from 14 million bushels in 2003 to more than 111 million bushels in 2013. Well, there's some major expansion in the fertilizer industry. They're trying to get more efficient and bigger in hopes of keeping growers on the go during the tight window during planting season.
Years ago, it was 30 days, 45 days to get the crop in. Nowadays, it's not uncommon to see 14 days, 21 at the most. I've seen a crop put in 10 days. We have a wet spring, it gets pushed, and that's all the crop put in, not just, sugar beets, but sugar beet, wheat, corn, all planted in the same week, 10 days.
Doug Couric is the crop nutrients manager with Dakota Plains Ag Group. He says his company is trying to become bigger and better.
Like this plant here is about 22,000 tons, and a normal spring with the growers, how fast they could put the crop in, we could have this emptied in 7 to 10 days. And then we have to get more product in to keep the growers going to get finished out for the year.
Couric says the biggest problem is logistics, so the goal is to have product on hand and become more efficient.
One of the projects we're working on is Gwinnett, North Dakota. That's going to fertilizer plant. That's going to be around 26,000. Hopefully it'll be ready in March 1st. Litchville, we built a new plant there, and then also Morton, we built a 15,000 dry plant and a 15,000 ton liquid plant. And then one of our other locations is Glendon, Minnesota. That's about a 7,500 ton dry plant. And they're all built for the growers for the spring season.
This getting bigger trend is statewide in North Dakota. Matt Clabo is the vice president of the fertilizer division in Valley City at FEI. He says with corn becoming more popular,
fertilizer capacity expansion is too.
More popular than ever. Yeah, it's not slowing down by any means. It's starting to make a push out west. Western North Dakota is going more dry. Plant expansion is picking up out there also.
The plant in Kindred, North Dakota is 8 years old. A new report shows North Dakota cropland values dropped about 9% in 2015. Pasture land and rental rates are down too, but not as much. The annual survey is done by the state chapter of the American Society of Farm Managers and Rural Appraisers. It's the second year land values are down, following 3 years of deflated commodity prices and a big drop in cattle prices in recent months. One of the people who helped put the survey together says the results really aren't that surprising.
Land values and rental rates do not follow commodities exact when they're going up and when they're going down. So what we consistently hear in the marketplace now is the land values have come down some. There's certainly some hopes that the commodity markets will go up. We're not going to go back to where we were 3-4 years ago. We don't expect that. But if we could see about a 10 to 20% increase in commodity prices, we think the land market will probably pretty well level off.
Max Steffes, a farmland sales specialist, says many sellers have been unwilling to accept the low prices. He says there were many no-sale land auctions and longer listing times for properties. He says both buyers and lenders are growing more cautious over cash flow concerns. Up next on AgweekTV, high consumer demand is spurring the rapid growth of organic dairy operations and the supplies they need.
How did we become the region's largest independent seed company? By taking a very simple but powerful stand. We will sell no seed that we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm. Peterson Farm Seed. Stand tall.
Oh no, look out!
You kids stay in the car. I'll be right there. Honey, I'm gonna need my Carhartts.
When you pull on a set of Carhartt Extremes from Home of Economy, it's like wrapping yourself in a suit of armor, which can come in handy because sometimes being a parent feels more like being a superhero, and battling the elements is just another part of the job. Find your Carhartt Extremes at the guaranteed lowest price, only at Home of Economy, where your dollar buys more.
Who do you call when you have grain dryer issues? His number is probably already on your phone. Guy Kittleson of American Farm Equipment, 701-793-8804. With over 35 years experience in grain dryer sales, Guy was grain dryers before grain dryers were cool. He sells and services American, Chief, and Deluxe grain dryers with capacities from 200 to 10,000 bushels per hour. Guy works on them all. But when it comes to confidence and dependability in your grain dryer, buy from Guy. Guy Kittleson, American Farm Equipment.
Drainage Solutions is experienced in the tri-state area. Their skilled employees will design, implement, and maintain the best drainage system available. Drainage Solutions uses state-of-the-art equipment along with the best data resources available to design a drainage system that they guarantee will be both efficient and cost-effective. Whether you're considering drain tile for the first time or adding to your existing drainage system, let Drainage Solutions design the most appropriate site-specific drainage for your needs. Total Ag Industries is the leader in total control. Their custom-built fertilizer systems are the crown jewel of the Total Ag lineup. Total Ag systems come with a fully customizable fill system, and the variable rate hydraulic drive system works with John Deere displays for real-time feedback and complete fertilizer monitoring. Total Ag's field-tested design allows precise control and accurate application in your fields for better yields and more profit. Contact Total Ag by phone or visit totalag.com.
The organic livestock industry is growing so fast, supply can't keep up with demand. That was the message from a Wisconsin veterinarian who now works exclusively with organic producers. Dr. Paul Detlaw spoke recently at a Sustainable Ag conference in South Dakota. He works for Organic Valley, the largest organic dairy co-op in the U.S. He was a conventional veterinarian for 35 years, but when 23 of his farmers went organic, He followed suit. Now he makes a full line of organically approved health products for animals called Dr. Paul's.
It was a new way of farming, getting back to Mother Nature, dealing with her and in a natural way with natural fertilizers and natural health aids, not going for high production, going for healthy animals that produce good quality food without contaminating it with chemicals and herbicides and pesticides.
Right now, there are 1,500 organic dairy farms with 300 more transitioning. Detloff says demand for organics is high and growing.
The younger metro people that are 4 and 5 generations away from farming, they want animals to be treated humanely. They want the food to be raised on a small carbon footprint, that we don't contaminate our rivers and our aquifers and destroy the farm ecology. We've had a huge learning process, and this has been driven by the consumer.
Detloff says much of the feed needed for these cattle has to be imported from Canada, so he'd like to see more farmers start growing organic grain. If you have cattle, it's time to be thinking about treating lice. NDSU Livestock Stewardship Specialist Gerald Stoka has some tips.
This time of the year, we'll find that producers will start giving us calls about cattle losing hair. Most often, the cause of this hair loss is going to be the external parasite that we call lice. There are actually 2 different kinds of lice in cattle populations. There's a sucking lice, and then there are biting lice. And most often, the culprit that causes the most itching are these biting lice, and they become more active when the weather gets cold. While you might apply that lice treatment, it's especially true for biting lice, they're not going to find that treatment. They're not going to crawl into it until it gets colder, when they get more active. And so we can be frustrated with trying to treat for lice too early. We're better off if we have a little discipline and just wait until we see the first signs of lice, and then go ahead and treat the entire group. When it comes to treating for lice, one of the common mistakes that seems to be made is not providing the right dose. Many of our producers think they all have 1,100 and 1,200 pound cows, when in fact many of them are 1,500, 1,600 pounds and even larger than that. And if you really want to treat effectively, you've got to use the right dose. The other thing I tell people too is don't introduce some other animals into a group after you've treated them, because now you may have reinfested the group again.
Stoka stressed that all products used for lice control must comply with the label withdrawal times prior to marketing. The bison industry is coming off a banner year, and it's expected to continue as demand for bison burgers exceeds supply. National Bison Association Executive Director Dave Carter says the group is trying to encourage producers to get into the bison business, and for those already involved to increase their herds. The price processors are paying ranchers for market-ready bison increased from $1.60 a pound in 2004 to $4 a pound in 2011. It's been between $3.90 and $4.25 a pound since then. Just ahead on AgweekTV, your agri-weather outlook for the week, and later what South Dakota is doing to improve wildlife habitat and help farmers.
As a manufacturer, if you don't actually farm, there's so many places where you go wrong if you really don't have a true gut feeling for the end result. From the seed placement, fertilizer placement, packing, weigh scales, variable rates, everything that we have is put there to make you more money. At the end of the day, we guarantee that with Super Seed Guarantee.
Tightline Drainage is the Red River Valley's most trusted name for tile. Tightline uses the Port Hydromax plow and also Port Hydromax trenchers for installing our laterals and mainline accurately. The science behind drain tile proves healthier plant growth and greater yields. Tightline Drainage also sells pipes, fittings, tiling plows, landau tillage equipment, and more. Tightline Drainage is owned and operated by experienced agricultural professionals who understand the need for progressive agricultural practices. Call Tightline Drainage for a free drainage design today at 701-235-1900.
It's 3 windows in one. It's the Euro Series by Minn Kota Windows. It's a picture window. One turn of the handle and the unit tilts in for ventilation. A second turn swings the sash inward. Easy to clean from the interior and available as a window and patio door. Durable hardware allows for larger single units and tremendous safety. And of course, it's covered by the industry's best warranty. The Euro Series by Minn Kota Windows. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Minn Kota Windows, windows for your world.
This is Dennis Beliski with exciting news. The next Grand Forks area equipment and truck auction will be indoors at the Alaris Center March 23rd. Demand for good used equipment is always strong. Buy straight out and use our auction to sell your trades or turn no longer needed units into working capital before spring planting. Strong marketing, online bidding, great facilities, and knowledgeable auctioneers will deliver the best possible returns. Decades of knowledge, steady innovation, and top results. The auction is March 23rd. Advertising deadline February 23rd.
North Country Marketing represents manufacturers of agricultural, light industrial, and lawn and garden equipment, and we're looking for a national service technician to join our team. Headquartered out of West Fargo, North Dakota, the right candidate will receive a competitive salary, full benefits package, paid holidays, paid vacation, retirement package, and company vehicle. Some overnight travel is required. We're looking for someone with a proven track record, 5 years of minimum experience, and a strong agricultural background. Small engine repair experience a plus. Send cover letter and resume to stu@northcountrymarketing.biz.
Good evening and welcome to the weather portion of Ag Week, and I'm going to start out this week by talking about the winter snow so far. Granted, winter snow is not as critical as spring rainfall. You can go all winter with very little snow, have a wet April and early May, and all of a sudden you're no longer wanting for moisture. But it is fairly significant. Rainfall for the most part last summer was not extraordinarily wet, and so it's not like the area is really dry, but it's not as wet as it has been for much of the last 10 or 20 years, where it's been fairly wet. And snowfall this winter has not helped that. Over most of the area, International Falls, Grand Forks, Fargo, Aberdeen, Pierre, Bismarck, Rapid City, snow totals so far this winter are running about 17 to 24 inches, which is somewhere around half to maybe 60% of what is average through to the 1st of February. So we're running quite dry until suddenly you see Sioux Falls, where it's been about double the snowfall everywhere else, and you need to know that south and east of Sioux Falls, down in Iowa, it's been extremely snowy. So it's not like there haven't been any storms, it's just that the storm track, mostly related to El Nino, has come up out of the southern plains, the southern Rockies, spread up through the Midwest. While it hasn't been an extraordinarily snowy season, it's been pretty good down around Sioux Falls, and the rest of the area just hasn't been that snowy. Today, a little bit of snow and in some parts of the northern plains, Saturday and Sunday from a little clipper system, mostly Sunday. But a big change in the weather is the jet stream is temporarily, the polar jet, getting very strong. Going to make a dump of cold air into the northern plains and the Great Lakes all the way down into the south this week. There's going to be some pretty cold weather, and it's going to stick around for a few days while the west coast, which is mild for the Super Bowl, will remain quite mild. This kind of northwest flow is not conducive to big snow events, just brings down the cold weather. And interesting, it looks like by the end of the week and Valentine's Day weekend, the cold weather may get rejuvenated for us folks here in the northern plains. Let's take a look at precipitation around the country. This week, it's going to be wet from the Pacific Northwest northward. The southern states will be fairly dry, especially over the southwest. Not much at all for Texas and points west. Again, not a good winter to travel to Florida. Lots of rain for the southeastern states. And this will mostly be lake effect snows because of the Arctic air coming into the Great Lakes. Across the northern plains, the Dakotas and Minnesota, there may be some snow, but it looks like it won't be very substantial. The second week, February 14th to 20, looking pretty dry across the north. Pacific Northwest looks wet. Southern California continues to get skunked this winter. El Nino just not helping them out. And I do look for in the second week here, sometime after Valentine's Day, one significant snowstorm, rainstorm in the Midwest, but it looks like it's mostly going to be to the south of Iowa.
It's time to demand more. With Micro Essentials, you get more from every acre. Through our fusion technology, only Micro Essentials combines 4 vital nutrients into one powerful granule, ensuring uniform nutrient distribution and increased nutrient uptake. The innovation behind our fusion technology means you'll grow stronger, healthier plants. Micro Essentials. Get more from every acre.
Hey, I'm Tyler Perry. Do you know what hunger in America looks like? Well, it has many faces, and 16 million of those belong to children. Yet billions of pounds of food go to waste each year, and this is unacceptable. You can be a part of the solution. Join us in supporting the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, which rescues our surplus foods and provides meals to many families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org today. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
Commitment. You need it to succeed on the farm. It's total dedication to the land, family, and community. It's more than a way to make a living. It's a way of life. You've had it since the first time you ran your hands through the soil, helped bale hay, or rode along in the combine. Your commitment. It's as strong as your family's trust, as honest as each long day you put in, and as pure as the opportunity that comes with every tomorrow. It's how we build our bins. With proven design, superior structural integrity, a lifetime warranty, and a promise to stand with you, no matter what storms come your way. The harvest will always be protected, so you can sell when it's right for you, your family, and your farm. Commitment. It's why we can say, there's nothing standard about superior.
AgweekTV, sponsored by Peterson Farm Seed.
With lower commodity prices, more South Dakota producers may be considering the state's new Habitat Pays program. It was launched last fall. It's an effort to create more wildlife habitat. It offers one website that helps match landowners with the right program. Governor Dennis Dugard says so far it's a big success. The program is a joint venture between South Dakota's Game, Fish, and Parks and Ag departments. And South Dakota is the first state in the nation to create a wetland mitigation bank. It still needs final approval, but it would connect farmers and conservationists to trade wetland credits. The Wetland Mitigation Bank is part of the USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service. The bank would help eliminate concerns created by the Swamp Buster provisions in the 1985 Farm Bill, which protects wetlands from drainage on cropland. Landowners would be able to restore, enhance, or create wetlands on their property in return for money from farmers who want to drain their wetlands for crops. Dakota Wetlands partners Brian Topp, who helped set up the program, says it has good support from both conservationists and ag groups. Topp says he hopes the program can be up and running in about 18 months. A national TV show puts North Dakota farmers in the spotlight. That's next on AgweekTV.
How did we become the region's largest independent seed company? By taking a very simple but powerful stand. We will sell no seed that we wouldn't be happy to plant on our own farm. Peterson Farm Seed. Stand tall.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? Agweek Magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. Agweek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted, Agweek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
Upgrade your trailer to electric with the Rolltech electric system from AgriCover. Strong, flexible pivot arms and motor mount rotate and telescope, allowing the roll tube to rise and flex over heaped loads. The positive automatic lock is impossible to back off to control the flow of grain. This integrated system uses one wireless remote to operate up to 10 tarps and hoppers, keeping your driver out of the dust, rain, and harm's way. See the Rolltech system in action at an AgriCover dealer near you.
North Dakota soybean farmers put food on tables all over the world, including their own. That's why it's important that we produce healthy, safe, affordable food. It's also important that we keep up with demand. Today's farmer feeds 155 people per year. Compare that to a farmer only 2 generations ago who produced enough for just 26. Most North Dakota farms are still family-owned and operated because our care of the land that feeds the world today is our children's legacy for tomorrow.
North Dakota got a small taste of a large national TV program this week. U.S. Farm Report taped part of its show in Fargo during the Northern Soybean Expo. John Phipps moderated the marketing roundtable discussion, then took questions from the audience. Phipps says traveling to different states is important in his business.
For me, as a commentator and as a writer for the magazines, I've learned that if you want to know where farmers are coming from, you have to literally see where they come from. And it really helps to come to North Dakota and see the land that shapes them, to see the conditions they're dealing with, to hear them firsthand. And then suddenly you're able to get a better picture of what's happening in the nation as a whole.
This was the first time Phipps hosted the Marketing Roundtable segment. This week's photo of the week comes from Jeremy Johnson at the Johnson Stock Farm near Sharon, North Dakota. Jeremy says it was a cold and frosty morning serving up breakfast for his herd. It was 25 degrees below zero that day he shot this. Thanks, Jeremy. Send us your favorite farm picture. Email your best shot to photos@agweek.com. We need your name, location, and tell us what's going on in the photo. Thanks for watching this week's edition of Agweek TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com. We'll see you back here next week.